some Chardonnay. Some balsamic vinegar. This is going to be difficult to do because I only have two hands and I'm not a mutant. And then that goes in there. Some minced garlic. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of that in there. And then some fermented mushroom soy sauce. This is what's gonna give it its seasoning. Some freshly ground black pepper. This is monosodium glutamate. I put 3 total in here, but I'm only showing you 1. This is fresh parsley and oregano that I dried and ground myself. This is going to be the orange bell pepper that I use, and then some yellow onion. I like yellow onion better than Vidalia's. Alright, now that I'm good and crying from the onions and just got done doing the pepper stew, all that is going to go in the pot. And then the butter, I'm just going to chop it up. Makes it melt quicker. And I always leave it on the wrapper when I chop it up. That way it just comes right off of the cutting board. Now that we got the butter chopped, butter goes in. That's a full stick. Now I've got it on a medium-high heat, and I'm just gonna kind of let this stuff simmer in and saute the onions and get them nice and candied over. All the stuff in there. Can't forget to stir the mushrooms every once in a while. Keep them all evenly rehydrated. I'm kind of doing a quick rehydrate on them because I didn't want to wait 24 hours for them to soak in cold water. For doing ramen, I like to use mung bean noodles and like the really thin ones. I don't like really thick noodles in my ramen. Now everything's starting to melt down and get cooked in. Eventually there won't be so much liquid and it'll be brought down and it'll be like really what's the word? Concentrated. It makes it a whole lot better. So I did accidentally lie. I don't have any celery, so I'm swapping it out for some green beans. Some freshly chopped green beans. So now that this is kind of at a pretty hard boil, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat down to low, like really low, so that it just sits here and like barely simmers. So I'm pretty sure the mushrooms are close to being done with the heat. Yeah, they've absorbed quite a bit of water. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take them off of the heat and turn the stove off for that. Alright, now that the mushrooms are pretty much done, I'm going to take them and separate them from their juice. And that is actually going to be the juice that gets used for the ramen, along with all the other stuff that we made together. Separate the mushrooms, move the spoon out of the way, and then we're going to take that mushroom juice and we're going to bring it straight over. Drop it in there. Now we have a beautiful ramen sauce. Let's see. Yeah, that's gonna be amazing. I think I'm just gonna try a little bit. Oh shit, that's like perfect. My gosh. Okay. Alright. And then this is gonna sit here and kind of cook down a little bit. And then we'll throw the beans and the noodles and the mushrooms all together and it'll be done. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. This stuff is really starting to cook in, so I'm gonna add the mushrooms. Probably not gonna use all of them. There we go. That's probably enough. Let's see. Check it with the... Yeah, that's about right there. So we'll leave that, and then we'll grab the beans and we'll toss the beans in. Okay, and then I got the beans ready. Did that off camera because it's too hard to hold the camera and do all this stuff at the same time. Add those in, and then give this all a good stir. It's gonna be so delicious. I'm not gonna lie, I've already tried it a couple times. The soup alone by itself without anything else in it was actually amazing. Then I took my kitchen shears and I cut the mung bean noodles so that they're easier to use with a fork. And they kind of make it a little easier to eat. Grab the other one, cut it up, and I'll throw it in too. Alright, and now it's almost all done. Now I just kind of push the noodles down into the broth that we made, and these don't actually have to boil. They just have to heat up with the beans, and then they will soften up with everything else. So I really like these kind of noodles. And roughly 2 hours later, you have a homemade mushroom ramen that is going to be absolutely amazing. If you decide to cook it yourself, I promise you, it's freaking awesome. I've already had some. And yes, I have specific ramen bowls. Like, I legit have ramen bowls that I use. Call me a goofball, whatever, I don't care. I like healthy foods and making them myself because people try to overcharge for it. That is going to be amazing.